Okay.
Yeah.
Real quick before we continue on the M&A work, with the executive search, usually what's that time frame look like if a client comes to you and they're looking for some candidates? What's that time frame from, that initial meeting or starting working with that client, and then you're starting the interview process? Are you interviewing each client before you, or person before you send them to the client? How does that work?
Good question. Uh, the timetables around the world can differ based on different markets. Okay. In South Korea, we seem to be a little faster than some other markets. Okay. So the general calculations or timetables that we would discuss with our clients to expect or forecast, right, is about 1 month for the search process. Then there's usually anywhere from a week to 4 weeks of client interviews, getting on their schedules. And then in Korea, by law, you're supposed to turn in a 30-day notice before you begin to work. So
Mhm.
realistically, we budget out and plan forecast about a 90-day cycle from when we begin to when the person actually starts work. And obviously, there's exceptions to all of this. Things can happen faster and quicker and easier. And then to answer your question on the interviews, yes, there's what we call the long list process, where on average we may have anywhere from 45 to 80 some long listed candidates, and sometimes even more, that we start to filter through and really start getting serious about. Then that gets nailed down and gets shorter and shorter to where there's email communications, chatting, and then interviewing process internally within our organization before they're ever introduced to the client for a short list, which is usually 3 to 5 candidates. All right. So it's a lot of work, a lot of process. And one reason, and when you understand that, you can understand why oftentimes when people approach us or try to get us to give them our time or to interview them and stuff, it's just not feasibly possible to do that with everyone that wants it. Although they may be a great person, great talented, but when you have a targeted approach where you say, I'm under contract with this client to fill this role, right? And then I have to use my people, their time, their resources to search and interview and contact all these people for that focused search assignment. That's where they have to spend their time because that's how we survive, right? That's what we're being paid to do. So please, I would just say to your audience, please understand that about executive search professionals. They don't mean to be disrespectful or not totally ignore you if they just don't give you their time. It's just that time is so valuable and difficult to manage. Uh,
And you really are looking for the best of the best for
yeah,
that
yeah.
client.
Yes, because we put guarantees. So we put guarantees in our contracts. Now think about that. How can I guarantee if I search for you and I find you and I'm going to introduce you that you're going to stay? I'm putting money
Okay.
on the line, the table. I'm saying, in my best professional expertise, that you're the right man for the job, and that I think you'll go there, you will be successful, and that you will stay.
How do
Right?
you ensure that?
Well, that's a good question. And the only way you can ensure it is that be very good in your processes, have experience doing this, have great experience reading people, getting good reference checks on them. Right? And expertise and experience is the biggest thing because, for example, uh, we're judging people all the time, whether they realize it or not. How quickly do they respond to us? What's their attitude? How flexible are they? Do they seem to have the right mindset? And do they look like they will fit in that culture? And I'll give you a quick example, an easy example. When I was the head of Adidas globally, I was hiring internally uh, globally also for our different positions. And you could take a competitor, let's say like a Reebok or a Nike or a Puma or whatever, and you would think, okay, the processes are the same. The type of clients are the same. The production facilities, everything's pretty much the same. So looks like one person that could work in this company could work in the other company as well. Well, that's wrong. because the corporate culture and what it takes to be successful in one of those organizations, and I know specifically about those organizations, ironically, you could be a superstar in one of those and be a super failure in the other, but you've not changed. You see? So knowing the corporate culture, knowing what it takes to succeed in an organization is also super important. So all these expertise things you develop over time, and there are a variety of ways we develop these skills and these abilities, right? But that's how we can then go with confidence and place the candidates, right? And give guarantees. And we have to be very good at it. And very rarely do we have to enforce our guarantee, all right? Or we couldn't do it because, you couldn't make a living. That
Sure.
didn't work. Yeah. So expertise, I think, is the short answer.